Cannot reliably automate xrandr settings in Debian 7 on VirtualBox. Although there are several existing questions on the matter, from which the most helpful answer is this, and various threads on other forums, I cannot reliably set my xrandr settings in Debian 7 on VirtualBox. I am trying to use xrandr to control my display settings, rather than allowing my desktop environment to automate them, because I am using the i3 window manager, which does not automate display settings or use the GNOME desktop environment display settings. Setup. I'm not sure how relevant any of this is, especially the hardware stuff, since I don't think Debian can actually access much info about the monitor setup. As far as I can tell, VirtualBox just reports the existence of virtual screens as if they were hardware monitors. Hardware. Lenovo laptop with NVIDIA graphics. The integrated Intel CUE is not used. As far as I know, there's a BIOS setting I use to accomplish this. Windows 7. 32 GB RAM. Using latest, I think, NVIDIA driver, 340.84. This might matter, since I enabled 3D acceleration in VirtualBox, see below, which I think allows the guest OS to have access to the host hardware. Seiki 4K TV, used as monitor, via HDMI via docking station, which internally converts DisplayPort to HDMI. Samsung SyncMaster 243T monitor turned vertical. VirtualBox. Using VirtualBox the 4th of March 2020. Guest editions, same version, are installed. Monitor count, 2, assigned to the Seiki and the SyncMaster when in full screen mode. Maximum video memory, 128 MB, used. 3D acceleration is enabled. Guest settings. (32-bit) Debian 7. GNOME and GDM3 are installed. Preferred WM is i3. Behavior. When I launch i3 and query xrandr, the default display settings always appear to be identical between VBox 0 and VBox 1, the two monitors that VirtualBox reports to xrandr. At least, that's how I understand it. I could be missing something. Note that as far as I can tell, there's no good way to tell which VBox hash is which monitor short of trial and error. Usually this includes a reasonable, if slightly below native, resolution for my vertical SyncMaster, but no 4K resolution for the Seiki. The auto-resize guest display option in VirtualBox does not appear to affect xrandr. I have tried various modifications of the script described in the answer linked above, but in general I seem to get various xrandr errors. I have not found many correlations between the various things I've tried and the errors I get, but here are the main things that might be important. Script tweaks. Usually, skipping the box service restart steps, they do not seem to change the xrandr behavior. Use xrandr FB option before any other xrandr commands. This sometimes results in specified screen not large enough error listed below. Use 30 FPS instead of 60. 4K via current HDMI is 30 FPS max, but I don't think this should matter within VirtualBox. In any case, I think I've sometimes had it work and sometimes had it fail both ways. Use CVT instead of GTF. These appear to behave essentially the same way. Substitute the first number given by GTF, which is usually around 200 or 300, with a smaller number, such as 100.00. I think this worked once or twice on the command line, but doesn't generally appear to make a difference. Randomize new mode names using $random. I've also tried various other means of fiddling with names. Explicitly mode modes before creating them using new mode. This appears to prevent the font error listed below. Use right of or left of when setting outputs, since the screens usually are mirrored by default. Error messages. xrandr column specified screen 5120 by 2160 not large enough for output VBox 0, 3840 by 2160 plus 3840 plus 0x error of failed request column bad value, integer parameter out of range for operation. I got this one just now when rerunning the script after the monitors had already been coerced to their proper resolution, using the workaround described in the next section. This surprised me, because xrandr reports the following. Screen 0 column minimum 64 by 64, current 5120 by 2160, maximum 16384 by 16384. X error of failed request column bad match. Invalid parameter attributes. This sometimes occurs when trying to do a new mode. It is probably the second most common reason for the script to fail. I think it may be caused by xrandr remembering the name of the mode from a previous attempt to set it up, but using $random does not appear to consistently solve the problem, so it may be some other problem. I suppose it's possible that even with $random there are name collisions, though I have not seen this error since I started using mode. But I haven't run the script enough times since adding that command to be sure that it's made a difference to the behavior. X error of failed request column bad match. Invalid parameter attributes. This sometimes occurs when trying to do an id mode. It is probably the most common reason for the script to fail, and it mystifies me. Sometimes manually, i.e. in the terminal, executing the same sequence of commands used by the script seems to be a viable workaround for this error, which is bizarre. GNOME workaround. I have found that if I log into the GNOME desktop, then perform VirtualBox's auto-resize guest display function, then log out and back in with i3, xrandr typically includes the correct resolutions for both the Saki and the Sync Master in its auto-generated list of modes, and the 4K resolution is set as the preferred resolution for each VBox screen. This allows me to simply use xrandr output, 4K VBox, auto left of, Sync Master VBox, followed by xrandr output, Sync Master VBox, mode, Sync Master resolution. Note that the Sync Master resolution must still be manually specified, since xrandr reports the same preferred resolution for both VBox #s with no regard for truth or sanity. This workaround, once performed, apparently persists across shutdowns and reboots. That is, the desired modes are still present in xrandr's mode list, though I still need to run the two xrandr commands after starting an i3 session, but does not always persist when simply logging out and starting a new i3 session. Note that the GDM3 login screen never has the correct resolution, as far as I have seen. I have no further comment on the strangeness going on here. Edit. This approach doesn't seem to be scriptable, and the behavior actually doesn't seem to be consistent. Other notes. I do not have nsconf or similar file in my etc/x11dir. Fixing the displays is a pretty common problem, because whenever I turn off one of my monitors, VirtualBox kills one of the full screen virtual monitors. Ugh. Questions. Is there any way to programmatically distinguish between the actual hardware capabilities, i.e. native resolutions, of different monitors from within VirtualBox? Why am I seeing these various errors? What is going on with xrandr, etc.? Is there any way to reliably achieve the right full screen resolution without requiring me start a GNOME session before my i3 session? Possibly related issues. My mouse pointer does not reliably line up correctly with where clicks appear to be detected, Clicks usually occur below and to the right of the pointer. Once I have the screens correctly configured, this problem usually disappears, though currently the screens have the correct resolutions but the pointer is still slightly off. When I do manage to get the resolutions correct, the screen occasionally flickers. This is annoying but livable. Any idea what causes it or if it can be fixed?
Updating to the latest VirtualBox version, 5.0.14, appears to have resolved the issue.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.